Yes, you're watching the South Australian Sports Show Thursday night, of course, massive night.
You'll love it, Smiley, you'll love it.
36ers up against Melbourne. It'll be an absolute pearl. And, of course, the man in charge, Joey Wright, joins us. Joey, how are you?
I'm good. Thanks for having me on.
Maybe been a pretty busy off-season for you. First off, let's start with the Summer Pro League. You were coaching in it. Some of the players were in it. How'd you enjoy it?
Oh, I thought it was awesome. Going into Utah as an assistant coach for the first time gave me an idea of looking at it from the other side. But, you know, just looking at what they do and how they do things were great. Some of the stuff, you know, came back to me, and we got to do better at what we're working on, but also confirmed that we're doing some things right. So I just thought it was great experience for me and the players.
What about the pre-season, Joey, from your point of view? Have you been pleased with it thus far?
You're never exactly pleased with it because you do understand it's pre-season. So if you win them all, it's a bad expectation. If you lose them all, that's not good either. So pre-season.
But what you've seen, you've been happy with?
I have been happy. Our guys are working hard. Our work rate's really up with our group. The camaraderie's good. So, you know, with that being said, I can partially be happy.
Good.
Oh, mate, you went to Singapore, won the Merlion Cup. It's a good thing to get away overseas with a group because all the distractions are gone, so you can galvanise quicker. I mean, obviously winning it, pleased with the form of the team, the new imports settling in, things are tracking pretty nicely.
Yeah, you know, it was great for us to get away because when we left, Shannon Shorter, the point guard, hadn't played with us before. He was still kind of on the outside. The other imports were trying to find their way, but by the time we left Singapore, we definitely galvanized as a group and haven't had an identity. Winning was great. Competition wasn't the best, but we did have a chance to work on some things.
Mate, some of the NBL teams are about to play some of the NBA teams in a pre-season game, which is massive exposure for our sport and a great opportunity. The Sixers, unfortunately, aren't involved. Hopefully next year for them. Do you see it as a good thing or a bad thing?
I think it's great for the league. It's unbelievable for the league to have the opportunity to play against NBA competition. You know, it's just going to be great for our league, just great exposure. Now, I'm not sure if I want to be the team that's flying back.
Bit of jet lag, you think?
Yeah, play a game here, but you know, it's great for us, and hopefully one day we will get the opportunity.
Mate, the new imports, tell us a little bit about them.
Well, look, one we have out now with a knee injury, so we're not sure if he'll be available on Thursday. But Ramon Moore, great, exciting player, can score from all areas, a wing player. Inside, outside, great passing ability, and just a great guy. And then along with him, Shannon Shorter is a 6'4", 220-pound point guard. So,
so you and I are glad we're not playing anymore. There we go.
Well, I'm 220 pounds.
I'm working to it. I'm a work in progress.
I can tell you.
So yeah, you know, he's a big point guard. His ability to find the people on the court is great. He rebounds the ball really well. He takes pride in his defense and he can score points. So hopefully he'll come along. He hadn't played against any NBL competition, but I think he'll be, you know, after a couple games, he'll be ready to go. What
about the expectations, Joe? We had a good year last year. What about the expectations? How do you handle that? Because we are, as you know, with the Crows and all that, we're sort of parochial in this state.
Yeah, the good thing about me is expectations for anybody else is far lower than my expectations. So. I not that I don't care, but I don't care. Because what I expect out of me and what I expect out of my team is usually supersede. I hear people all the time say stuff like, you know, I can't believe you did this. It's killing me. No, it's killing me. I'm the one feed myself with this job. You just get to love it or not love it. But, you know, my expectations are high, so I don't really take a look at
worry.
Nah.
Good on you.
Mate, do your emotions fluctuate much over the course of the year? Because coaches tend to take losses pretty hard. They store them, focus perhaps too much on losses, not enough on some of the wins. Which way?
Look, this is kind of a deep thought, but I think in coaching we actually create a bipolar mentality because we do ride wins and losses so much. We're happy when we win and we're sad when we lose. You do that for 10 years. It creates a mentality that's not great and conducive to live life. So you look at a lot of coaches afterward and glad you don't drink.
Then why do you do it?
You do it, you get hooked on it. I do it. I love the guys. I love being around it. I love seeing, you know, kids develop and grow into young men and not just ball players. So I try to get off just riding the wins and losses, but you do.
Just imagine what Don Pike is going through right at this moment, Joey. Have you tried to put yourself in his shoes?
Well, I have been in his shoes. I mean, losing to me feels exactly the same as losing to him, regardless of what everybody else think about basketball or footy. You know, people don't understand, like the coach coaches, you know, the under 18 girls team, and he loses the grand final. He feels just as bad as the guy who lost the grand final for footy. So it's all the same, and you know, I have been in those shoes, and you go back and you know, I don't look at the game.
You don't?
Nah, I don't look at the game.
You don't need to. He's got a reel going through his mind. You know.
It's just you know, if you had a game, you had another game the next night, you'd be happy to look at it to say, okay, we screwed that up, we did this, we did that. But when you can't do that, it's almost worse watching the game. So I just stay away from it.
You know, you've got a daughter, mate. I've got 3 daughters, and sometimes they're good giving advice to Dad on the drive home after a loss, mate. Can you recall an absolute good piece of advice?
Well, she gives advice all the time.
Right.
On why didn't this player do this, or why didn't you do that, and why didn't this happen?
Yep.
You know, but it tends to go the other way when I'm riding home after her game, and I say, why didn't you do this? whole different mood after that. So, you know, I try to remind her of that when she's giving me pointers.
You know the one where you're in the car and you're thinking, I just want to let the game go and try and be normal around the family and not bring that to the family. I remember driving home after a loss one time, and my youngest daughter, Holly, was 4 at the time, and I was just being quiet. No, I wasn't doing. She said, you know, Dad, tomorrow when you go to training, why don't you get the players to lie down on the ground, close their eyes and think about rainbows and unicorns?
Well, that's different.
That's some good advice.
Well, you know, seriously, we've tried everything else. I'm only with a shot in the end. But, mate, from the coaching side of it, you've let the reins go a little bit to Kevin Brooks in the off-season. Helped him develop as a coach?
Kevin's, I think he's really stepping up. You know, him coaching over the off-season in the Premier League was great for him. He's taken more of a lead now at training. My input at training's probably dropped 20-30%. He's really involved in vocal now, so we're really looking for him to step up and you know, maybe take the reins one day.
Mate, have you got a concern, if there's one at this stage here, that Mitch and Sobey played a lot of basketball leading into the start of this season? Are they players you've got to manage a little bit differently just at this stage?
Well, they did. I mean, when Sobey got back, he took the first 2 or 3 weeks off preseason. I mean, which wasn't great for our team development, but he did. He kind of stood around and watched for a while. And Mitch, although he had to come back and play the Boomers when he got back, he took a week off. It's not a concern I can really do anything about right now. So hopefully their bodies just keep ticking over. They're both great athletes.
They have youth on their side.
They got youth on their side. Let's roll with that.
Mate, expectation over the course of the season. Everyone wants to win. Doesn't matter which team we are, we want to win. What's realistically where you think at the midpoint? Because it's going to take a while for the group to gel, so you're not going to be playing your best basketball at the start, and you never want to. Where would you like to see the group? Just in the 4, is that... You know,
I'd love to be in the 4 after a couple weeks.
Okay.
You know, if we could stay in the 4 after a couple weeks with playing Melbourne twice, playing Sydney, you know, which, you know, 2 of the big powerhouse teams. If we could be in the 4 after, you know, the first 3 or 4 weeks, I'd be happy with that, wherever we're at.
All right, Joey Wright was our special guest. If you haven't got a season ticket to the Sixers, you need to get one. They are going to be a hot ticket in town. Stay with us. Still a bit more to come on the show.